Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to be talking about trigonometry ratios and functions. So these are skills that you have already learned in geometry that we need to make sure that we know very well before we start this trig unit that we're going to be doing. So today we're going to be talking about the Pythagorean theorem and understanding of special right triangles. And the next day we're going to be talking about the three basic trig ratios. So make sure you guys have your notes out, please, a pen and a pencil and a calculator. You have to write down everything today, okay? Every slide that I go through has to be written in your notes. All right. We are going to start out with just what is trigonometry. It's the study of the relationship between the sides and the angles of a triangle. So make sure you have this down. We're talking about right triangles and specifically. And when we have right triangles, we have two legs that are connected by a right angle. And then we have the hypotenuse, which is always straight across from that right angle. Okay? Very important to know. You should have this known already. All right, moving on. Big topic, Pythagorean theorem. Hopefully you guys already all know what this is. But it can help you find the missing sides of a right triangle when you are given two sides. So we're going to have a squared plus b squared equals c squared. We must have that. And when we're looking at our right triangle, here's my right angle. Across from my right angle is always my c. Otherwise, your A and B can be interexchanged. Okay, you can have A here, B here, or if you would like, you could have this be B and this be A. Those can change, it doesn't matter, but the C is always the hypotenuse, the side across from the right angle. All right, now we're going to get into a couple of examples when we're using Pythagorean theorem. So we need to find the length of the hypotenuse of the right triangle. So make sure you have this example written down, please, the problem and the solution. So we're going to use a squared plus b squared equals c squared. I'm going to give this a, I'm going to call this b, and this has to be c because it's my hypotenuse. So I have 72 squared plus 21 squared equals x squared. So 72 squared is 5,184 plus 21 squared is 441, and that's going to equal x squared. Now we add up this side and we get 5,625 equals x squared. Now to get x by itself, we're going to take the square root. So x is going to equal, now usually we put plus or minus, but we only want the positive value because we're talking about length. So in this case, we're going to equal a positive 75. And that is going to be my answer for this one. All right, ladies and gentlemen? All right, here comes the next one. Now this one, you guys, you don't have to write all this down. You can just draw the picture with me and then show your work from there, okay? So Randy made a ramp for his dog to get into his truck. So right now, here's my truck. Okay, and I made a ramp so the dog can get into it. So this is what it's going to look like. Now the ramp is approximately 6 feet long, so we're going to put a 6 feet here. And the height of the trunk is approximately 3 feet, so this is going to be 3 feet. We need to approximate how far from the back of the truck does the ramp touch the ground. So we need to find this. This is my right angle. So I'm going to use Pythagorean theorem. So I'm going to let this be A, this is going to be B, and this has to be C. So I have x squared plus 3 squared equals 6 squared. Simplify this, I get x squared plus 9 equals 36. To get x squared by itself, we're going to subtract 9 from both sides. So x squared equals 27. Now, when I take the square root of 27, it's not a perfect number, but that's okay. We want to have this in terms of feet because it's going to make more sense to us. So x equals 5.2 feet. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is our answer. So if you're looking at this, it would be C. Okay. Okay, so make sure you get this example written down. So those are 2 examples on Pythagorean theorem. Now we're going to move on and we're going to talk about some special right triangles. The first one we're going to talk about is 45, 45, 90 triangles. All right, if you look at this, it's also called an isosceles triangle, which means that 2 of the legs are the same, so these are going to be the same length, and 2 of the angles are going to be the same. They're going to be 45 because all of these are going to be 90-degree angles, and then we have our hypotenuse. Now, if you see here, we can either have to find a leg or we can have to find a hypotenuse. So we have 2 equations. These are so important, you guys. Everything on this page has to be written down, okay? To find the hypotenuse, you would take the leg times the square root of 2. Now, if you needed to find the leg, you would take the hypotenuse divided by the square root of 2. So please, please, please make sure you get everything on this slide written down. Right. Now we're going to do 2 examples. So we're going to be solving for either the leg or the hypotenuse. So make sure you get these down too, please. If we look at this, first thing, this is 45, so this is 45 degrees. The x right now is representing one of the legs. So that's what I'm going to have to find. The 8 is representing the hypotenuse. And I simplify or shorten the word to HYP when I talk about the hypotenuse, just so you guys know. For this one, we're looking for the leg. So our equation for the leg equals the hypotenuse divided by the square root of 2. So if I'm going to solve for this, I'm going to get the leg equals 8 divided by the square root of 2. Now this is all nice, but we know we can't have radicals in the denominator. To move it, we have to multiply by the square root of 2 on the bottom. And on the top, which is going to be 8, square roots of 2 all over the square root of 4. If I multiply that, simplifying this further, I'm going to get 8 square roots of 2 all over 2. Now this can be simplified one more time because we can simplify this. 8 divided by 2 is 4. So I have 4 square roots of 2. That is my final answer. That's what x equals. That's what my leg equals. Right, and since these are the same, that's what this side would equal to, 4 square roots of 2. All right, coming on over here, if we look at this, I know both of these and both of these, since this is my right angle and they're the same, these are my legs. So this is a 45-degree angle, always 45-degree angle. That's why 45, 45, 90. And we need to find the hypotenuse. So in order to find our hypotenuse, we're going to use that formula, and that is leg times the square root of 2. So my hypotenuse equals my leg was 3 square roots of 2 times square root of 2. So if I multiply these together, I'm going to take 3, and then the square root of 2 times the square root of 2 is the square root of 4. So my hypotenuse equals 3 square roots of 4. But I can simplify this, and I'm going to get 3 times 2, which is 6. So my hypotenuse on this one is going to equal 6. So those are our 2 examples of 45, 45, 90, which we are going to be using a lot. So make sure you know how to do that part, all right? Now our last thing that we're going to talk about today is our second special right triangle, which is called a 30, 60, 90 triangle. Now if we look at this, this one is contained of 3 different sides. I have a long leg, which is across from the 60, okay? And I abbreviate that by LL, just so you guys know. Then we have our short leg, which is across the smaller angle, which is always going to be 30. And I abbreviate that with an SL when I'm writing things. And then last but not least, across from right or right angle is our hypotenuse. Okay? Very important to know. Now, this one has a few more things here. We have the hypotenuse, the long leg, the short leg, and the short leg. There's 2 ways to find the short leg. And if you notice, the hypotenuse is 2 times the short leg. That's how we're going to find that. The long leg equals the short leg times the square root of 3. So in order to find the hypotenuse or the long leg, I need to know the short leg. So that's always the first thing that I either need to find or make sure I know. Then, if I need to find the short leg, there's two ways to do that. I can take the hypotenuse divided by 2, or the other way to find the short leg is to take the long leg divided by the square root of 3. So these 4 equations you have to have written down. You're going to have to know them. So make sure you do a good job and get all of this on the slide written down, please. We're going to do 3 examples with 30, 60, 90, and then we will be done for the day. So here we go. Here are 2 of the examples. So we're going to start over here on this one. I know that this is 30, so this must be 60. So I'm just going to go around and label everything. This is my short leg. This is my long leg. This is my hypotenuse. Now it's nice. I know my short leg. Whenever I know my short leg, I can get right down to business. I can find my hypotenuse or my long leg. So I'm going to find my hypotenuse first. So to find the hypotenuse, it equals 2 times the short leg. So the hypotenuse, so this one equals 2 times 4, which is just 8. Now to find the long leg, I'm just going to take the short leg times the square root of 2. Or excuse me, square root of 3. Apologize. Square root of 3. So that means my long leg is going to be 4 times the square root of 3. I can't simplify this at all, so then this is just going to be my answer for this one. And there's my 8. So that one's done. Whenever I have my short leg, it's nice and quick and fast. Now if we look over here at example 2, this one's 60, so this one's 30. Label everything. This is my long leg, this is my short leg, and this is my hypotenuse. So when I'm going about solving this one, I need to remember, if I don't know my short leg, that's the first thing I need to find. So I need to find my short leg. So short leg equals, now I know my hypotenuse, so that's the one I have to use, that equation, which is the hypotenuse divided by 2. So my short leg is going to equal 6 divided by 2, which is just 3. So my short leg is 3. Now that I know my short leg, now I can find my long leg. So my long leg, or my y value, equals the short leg times the square root of 3. So the long leg is going to equal 3 square roots of 3. And now that one's done because I know both sides. All right, here comes our last example. Make sure you have that last one down, please, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to find the missing side lengths of this one below. So I know it's a right angle. I know this is 30. That means this is my short leg over here. That means this is 60. So this is my long leg. Across from my right angle is my hypotenuse. So since I don't know my short leg, that's the first thing I need to find. So my short leg equals, since I know the long leg, I have to do the long leg divided by the square root of 3. So my short leg equals 5 over the square root of 3. Now I can't have a radical in the denominator, so I have to get rid of it. In order to do that, I'm going to multiply the top and bottom by the square root of 3. I'm going to get 5 square roots of 3 all over the square root of 9. That simplifies to 5 square roots of 3 over 3. That can't be simplified because 5 and 3 are both prime numbers, so we're going to keep it just like that. That's what my short leg is. Now that I know my short leg, I can find my hypotenuse. So to find the hypotenuse, that's going to equal 2 times my short leg. So the hypotenuse equals 2 times my short leg is 5 square roots of 3 over 3. Now this is written as a fraction, so I'm going to write 2 as a fraction, and I'm just going to multiply straight across. So my hypotenuse is going to equal 2 times 5 is 10 square roots of 3. 1 times 3 is 3. My hypotenuse equals 10 square roots of 3 all over 3. So please make sure that you got all of these examples and all of these equations written down in your notes. And this is all I have for you guys today. I hope you have a wonderful, fabulous day, and I'll be seeing you soon. Bye.